Time to finally start Doctor Who Week 3 after much anticipation by somebody, I'm sure. Uh, we're going to start with a David Tennant episode because I want to. And the one we're going to do is Gridlock. Gridlock is the one where David Tennant brings in. This is the third episode in Series 3, and he brings Martha to New York, or whatever that, how many news are actually there. And then they meet a few interesting things. They meet the Catwoman we saw in New Earth, go through the galaxy's largest traffic jam, get chased by said cat lady who has a laser Tommy gun. In this world, emotions are sold as drugs. He meets a cat man dressed like the Red Baron. The face of Bo says something mildly important. There's giant crabs, and that's about the episode. There's twists here and there, but yeah, this is not that much of an exciting episode. It's not in any way bad, and it's not boring. It's interesting to see a lot of interesting ideas, but in the end, it didn't say, "Wow, I'm going to rewatch this." I'm just going to say, unless it's on, or in this case, I get someone requesting me to do it. I'm probably not going to excitingly jump back to this episode. Again, there's cool ideas. The idea, the somewhat exaggerated idea that you'll be stuck in an eternal traffic jam. It's entertaining. That's the kind of sci-fi I tend to enjoy. Things where they just take kind of normal, everyday things like traffic jams, and overtly exaggerate it and make some sort of point. There's not a cold hard point, really. It's not too, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's just kind of exaggerating everyday life. I like that. The selling emotions as drugs thing is something would have been amazing if I actually didn't see the sci-fi miniseries Alice and it did the exact same fucking thing. But I'm pretty sure this predates it. But yeah, at the time, and plus I'm sure this is an idea that's been done to death. It's still a fascinating idea when you do it. And the idea that the concept of these emotional drugs plays a big part in the episode. It's a very interesting twist and all of that. I'll admit, but here's the thing. This is still the most memorable detail about this is David Tennant hopping from hover car to hover car, which is cool. But that's kind of the determining factor. I've asked people okay, here's how I approach people. And to be fair, I know everyone doesn't speak episode title, but everyone speaks insanely vague description title. For example, I bring up Blink. To the average person, I have to say the one with the angel statues. If I bring up Rose, you have to say the one that's the first step. Basically, you have to start everyone with the one or that one. And this one's very much the one where David Tennant is jumping from hover car to hover car. And, it's fun. I love the couple he kind of joins. What's his name? Brannigan? The kind of Irish-sounding cat guy who's dressed like the Red Baron. I loved him. He was fun. And he got insane along insanely well with David Tennant. Girl from Being Human's in it. The people who kidnap Martha are good actors. You should get along with them. I know the Macra, the giant crab things, they're an old creature. I'm not a huge fan of them because this was the only story I've ever seen him in, and I can't see the full story the original one, because it's on, I think it's either completely missing. I'm pretty sure it's incomplete. I don't want to say it's completely missing, but who knows. I will say this: there's a lot of cool, funny little throwaway things, like the fact that the cat pilot guy and his wife have a litter of kittens. I think that's just hilarious and adorable, and is given that image of David Tennant holding a kitten for every woman on the internet to squee over. And one other thing I will admit is I love how there's kind of, because all these people are basically trapped on this highway. I love the fact that there's this whole system to track down people. There's this interconnection. I will admit I love the fact that there's this a society and there's a whole inner working thing. Davies obviously was thinking about a lot of the details in his head, and it's not incredibly flawed as long as you can kind of get the idea that they're stuck in this traffic jam. It makes somewhat sense that they would start this kind of connective community. That, and I just love the fact that I could see a CB radio and a science fiction show. So, that's a couple notable things. There's little notable things that step it up and make it good, that make it watchable. There's another key piece I think I need to bring up. There is this kind of, I guess we'll say, framing thing, how the doctor tells Martha about what Gallifrey was kind of like and looks at it nicely, and then at the end kind of retells the story but seems sadder about it. A wonderfully written moment. Tennant pulls it off great, and Adjaman does it well. Their performances in general, because I haven't touched on them, are pretty good. Martha's damsel in distress but gets along with her kidnappers, and David Tennant gets along really well, funny, basically, on point. And the last little scene of him talking about his own world's really nice. Sad, but really good. The only big thing to take away from this is the Face of Bo has an important line of dialogue that is very important for the end of this season or series or whatever the fuck you want me to call it. But that's the thing. That's the only important piece. It's very much. It's good to watch on its own. It's watchable. It's not highly recommended by me because it just doesn't get me excited. I stop, watch, and I don't feel like I wasted any time. But that's just my opinion. You may have a different one. I know people who think this is a very good episode. Fine. I'm just not one of those people.